Believe it or not, I was really just speechless. And this happened the first time Steele pulled my first Young Gun, when Sway from Pole Wax pulled my Bedard net cord and a Young Gun in the same break. I really just get this reaction of I'm just speechless. I can't do anything. I mean, I can type into the chat, but I can't speak. I don't know what emotions to feel, so I just don't really feel anything. Looking back on it, you go, man, that's kind of sociopathic behavior. But it's just one of those things to where I just couldn't really feel anything. So, I mean, I even tried to force myself. All right, do I cry? Do I cheer? I mean, it was also during my daughter's nap time, and also my girl was upstairs napping as well, so I knew I couldn't be too loud. But it really didn't matter. I was just so amazed, and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen on what was there, and the fact that it belonged to me.
So, you having fun yet?
Welcome to this special episode of the Late Game Podcast. I am Jeffrey M. Zucker, co-creator, producer, and actor in the Late Game. Normally, my business partner, Jeff Tyner, is here with me. He couldn't join me today because we have this special episode we want to get out right away. We have been doing an incredible collaboration with Skolnsteel Breaks, learning a lot about the card collecting industry, card breaking in hockey, etc. And tremendous event this weekend as Skol of Skolnsteel pulled a very rare 1/1 Connor Bedard Upper Deck Extended Series 1/1 Gold Outburst. And we interview the guy who got the card, as we also have Zack, also known as Skol, on and joining us. And this is a card that has really been able to change Mike's life. The value is arguable, but most accounts have it at six figures plus. So listen here on how Mike's life was changed by snagging this card and how he'll meet up with us in Cleveland this week to pick it up directly at the National Card Show. And if you'll be there, join us on Thursday, July 25th at Rivals for an awesome event with the Late Game and Skolnsteel. Check out our socials for more details, and thanks for tuning in. Mike and Zack, thank you guys for joining me. Excited to chat.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and former podcast listeners might remember Zack, also known as Skol, who's been on the show before, runs Skolnsteel Card Breaks along with Travis Marshall, and it's been awesome collaborating with you guys with the Late Game. And, we have a lot of fun things in the works, including our event coming up in Cleveland in 2 days, Thursday, July 25th. And we were all pumped and excited for that enough. And then over the weekend, something pretty crazy happened. And our buddy Mike here pulled an absolute crazy card on stream with you. And, maybe like Zack, you want to start kind of walking us through what happened, and then we'll kind of go to Mike for some thoughts and reaction.
Yeah, definitely. So we were just normal day in Skull and Steel world, ripping bunch of boxes, a little bit of everything. We kind of do like a lot of mixers, so not necessarily a lot of case breaks, a little bit something for everybody. But we did have a couple. We did a random team, and the new extended hobby boxes have been pretty good. The 23-24 extended. So we like to do a little bit of a random team with that, and yeah, honestly, I wasn't really expecting it to be Bedard one, just because it's super rare and it's Bedard. But we already hit the canvas Young Gun in the same box of his, like of that for Bedard. So I was really not expecting it to be Bedard at that point. But
and I was actually live watching the stream, and you said though, we'll watch us pull the 1/1 Bedard. You said that beforehand.
yeah, I've been known to like kind of call it once in a while. So it is really cool that it happened like that. I've done it with a couple 1/1s before, but yeah, it's crazy how the world works sometimes.
Yeah. So I just remember, being on the stream. I was, like I said, on the stream, I was really thankful that it was during nap time so I could join. And then I saw what happened and saw the card pop out. So, for those listening that aren't aware, you pulled a 23-24 Upper Deck Extended Series 1/1 Gold Outburst Connor Bedard Draft Day rookie card.
Here we go, guys. Seeing Red, Nylander, Kachuk. I don't even know, like, I. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm about to throw up, guys. I'm about to throw up right now.
And, Mike, where was your mind at when you saw that pop up?
Believe it or not, I was really just speechless. And this happened the first time Steel pulled my first Young Gun, when Sway from Pole Wax pulled my Bedard net cord and a Young Gun in the same break. I really just get this reaction of I'm just speechless. I can't do anything. I mean, I can type into the chat, but I can't speak. I don't know what emotions to feel, so I just don't really feel anything. Almost looking back on it, you go, man, that's kind of sociopathic behavior. But it's just one of those things to where I just couldn't really feel anything. So I mean, I even tried to force myself. All right, do I cry? Do I cheer? I mean, it was also during my daughter's nap time, and also my girl was upstairs napping as well, so I knew I couldn't be too loud. But it really didn't matter. I was just so amazed, and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen on what was there, and the fact that it belonged to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what an incredible feeling. I mean, myself, I've gotten into, I was into card collecting as a kid. I got back into it meeting these guys a few months ago and have been building up quite the collection. So I definitely get that feeling of what it can be like to pull a big card. But then, these Bedard 1/1s, that's next level. And, again, for edification for those listening, there's a 1/1 Bedard Young Guns Gold Outburst. Is that right? That's the one with the $1 million bounty?
Yep.
Right. And so, there isn't a real comp for this. There's other 1/1s, but this is the other 1/1 Bedard has this $1 million bounty. So, did you know that already, I assume, given that you're a Hawks fan that's been trying to collect Bedard?
Yeah, well, I knew it was out there. Did I ever think I was going to pull any of the 101 gold outburst counters? No. Was I chasing that? Not really, just because, like I said, it was such a pipe dream and so far out of the realm of possibility that you forget about that. But yeah, as I've told several people that I've gotten some lowball offers for it, but I've told people when you comp a card like this, whether it's Connor Bedard or not, you always comp 1/1s to a similar 1/1 of a player and type of card. And so I'm just fortunate enough that with these Connor Bedard 1/1 gold outbursts, that there's two others. Now the only problem is they haven't been pulled, so the market hasn't been set. So I fully understand that I bear the responsibility of not just, taking an offer that's going to be right for me and my family, but also making sure that I set a fair market value because I guarantee you when the 1/1 retro Young Gun gets pulled, they're going to try to base it off of this sale.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. And I really appreciate that you understand that level of responsibility because it certainly is there. And, not only affects the future of everybody's card collecting, but yours too. So I think it's an important spot to be in and you're being really thoughtful about it. And, I read Sean Shapiro's piece that he released this morning on you. That was awesome. Our buddy Sean. And it was cool to hear, about hopes of paying off your mortgage, hopes of, putting some money away for your daughter for college. I mean, that must be tremendous things to start thinking about, but do you really think it's hit home yet, or do you need to hold the card later this week?
I'm going to definitely need to hold the card. Because right now, it is just an NFT card on screen. Hey, look at that! Wouldn't that be cool to own? Like if I were to do a Google search on it, that's what it feels like right now. But once I hold the card, and then as I told Sean, when I see that number, that big number in my bank account to where I can pay off my mortgage, put money away for my girl or my daughter for college, marry my girl, maybe go on a nice Disney vacation in a couple years when my daughter's old enough. To be able to do those things, that's when it's really going to hit home. Because if we pay off our mortgage, first thing we're going to look to do is possibly sell the house and move into a better neighborhood we'll have another mortgage now, but it'll just be, or we'll just pay it off with the rest of the card. Who knows? But yeah, this is definitely something that I'm going to make sure is life changing, because otherwise I'll just keep the card. Just because I'm selling it. I'm selling it because that's the best thing for me and my family with that amount of money. But if somebody wants to lowball, and I have gotten 5-figure offers that I've turned down, because if it's going to go for 5 figures, I might as well just keep it.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. I know I personally struggle with comparing myself to others, especially in the social media world. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. Therapy has been tremendously beneficial to me, and I think it can help most people, traumatized or not, be the best versions of themselves. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, for me, it's definitely got to go at least 6 figures. I mean, you can make an argument for the 7th with that one offer being out there, that one bounty being out there. But yeah, I mean, looking at the comps, there aren't really comps, but looking at the history of hockey sales, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this is in that top 5.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that number 5 is the PSA 10 51-52 Parkhurst Gordie Howe rookie. And because I was looking them up, I said, where do I realistically think we could be? And looking at the numbers, I have no reason why this can't be number 3. And then when the young gun gets pulled, that will push me down to 4. And then me and the retro, my car, the draft day rookie and the retro can battle it out for which one's gonna be 4, which one's gonna be 5. Because I really think that this is, as Sean mentioned, Bedard has really transformed this industry and card collecting, being in the it's after the in the post COVID space. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't get me wrong, I have spent a good amount of money chasing Bedard, but it's not just chasing Bedard; it's the investment of like, as soon as I started pulling the young guns and the net cord and things like that, I go, wow, I could have a serious chunk of my daughter's college paid off if he becomes Connor McDavid, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. I mean, name whatever top goal scorer you want to mention.
And I mean, it must be extra exciting as a Hawks fan. Like, tell me about your hockey history. When did you start getting into hockey? Were you always a Hawks fan?
Well, for a lot of people who aren't from Chicago or don't follow the Hawks ownership very closely, there's a very bitter relationship, at least in the old days, I will say, between Old Man Wirtz, the former owner, not Rocky, but
Dollar Bill.
yeah, right. That very, very bitter relationship between him and the fans. He said, if you aren't going to come sell out my stadium, I'm not going to put the games on TV. Well, guess what? That made it harder to draw fans. And the Blackhawks were forgotten for a long time. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you got to see Chelios and Amante and Belfour play on TV, but wasn't very often. And plus, growing up in the 90s, that was the Michael Jordan era here in Chicago. I mean, no, to be honest, nobody even knew that there was a second team playing in the United Center, much less a professional sports team. Um, and so, when Old Man Wirtz died and Rocky took over, Rocky basically said that this team belonged to the fans. He owned it. He called himself the chairman. He goes, I'm the chairman, but the Hawks fans own this team. And he gave it back to, basically opened it up, made it easier for fans to come to games. I'm not going to lie, getting Kane and Taves in back-to-back drafts was definitely not something that was going to hurt. And then after Marion hosts 2 failed attempts at a Stanley Cup, he comes over to the Hawks, and all of a sudden, boom, that was magic right there. And all of a sudden, the Hawks pull off 3 cups in 5 years. I was at every single one of those parades. It was a great time. But yeah, and that's what really got me into hockey. I mean, like I said, I knew of Chelios and Amante, Belfour, Daze, and I knew about the bitter the bitter relationship between Chicago and Detroit, but it didn't really come into full view um, until I became a Hawks fan after Old Man Wirtz died.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I actually was fortunate. I lived in Chicago for 6 years, and it was during the Cup run. It was from 2010 to 2016. And I wasn't like a big Hawks fan, but it was fun to be part of what was going on. I was at two of those parades. I was at two of the games, one in Boston and one in Chicago, where the Cups were won. So those are incredible to be at. And I felt that Blackhawks fever in town. So it's really cool that I'm so glad that you were the person to pull this card, someone that's truly been following the Hawks for a while instead of just, some shark just trying to get a Bedard card.
I mean, you go on my Twitter and you go back far enough, you're gonna see me tweeting between me and another friend that we have a group called the McAfee Mafia. We're big Pat McAfee fans, but talking about the Penguins and the Blackhawks, and I said, hey, we're just being bad for Bedard. We were trying so hard to get that spot, and we didn't have the best odds, but we still got it. Oh, and I knew things were going to change, and so that's why I said, I go, this is a generational talent. I go, imagine somebody right now, if they had a Connor McDavid, all the different Connor McDavid rookie cards from his rookie year, or even whether they're slabbed or raw, just having those cards was, probably enough to put a good chunk into somebody's college education. So I said, hey, I've got a daughter who I had just received a workman's comp settlement, and so I'm like, yeah, we got some things fixed up in the house. I'm going to take a couple $100 and I'm going to spend it on breaks. And I just got really lucky.
So did you start your card collecting like when the Bedard thing happened? Like when he got drafted?
I guess I would say restarted. As far as hockey, yes, that's the first real hockey I've jumped into, was trying to get Bedard. Um, But as far as card collecting, when I was in school or younger, I was one of those kids that, we traded our baseball and basketball cards and things like that. But unfortunately, I'm not one of those people that could say, hey, I'd be a millionaire if my mom didn't throw out my baseball cards. Because I was born in '83, grew up in the early '90s when cards were so mass produced. Like right now, Ken Griffey Jr., you can go find a PSA 8 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card and might spend $100 on it. The dude's a Hall of Famer. That should be well worth more than $100. But because there were 10, 50,000 of them made, they just weren't worth anything. So
That's a rough aspect for us growing up in the 90s because I have mine were hockey cards, but I have thousands of them, and like they're mostly worth nothing. I'm going to bring the Gretzky's with me to Cleveland, see if I can get anything, but overprinting.
Oh, absolutely. Because it was like once they figured out, this is becoming a smash hit, the card companies decided, let's just collect on it by seeing how many cards we can sell. And then once they got to that point where, it started declining because people realized that the cards were really worthless because you couldn't even really trade with people because everybody had the same cards you did. So,
Yeah, I would have like 10 of the
so
same card. Like,
yeah, it was just so getting away from that and getting cards into the more collectible space. I did take, obviously a couple decades off. I'm about to turn 41 in September, but so yeah, in my 20s and 30s, didn't really do any card collecting. It wasn't until I had just gotten into my settlement, done some, like I said, fixed up some things around the house, but I jumped onto Whatnot, believe it or not, collecting vinyl, like vinyl records. And it was one of those, I wonder what this is, and I got the bug.
yeah, I know the bug.
Yeah.
Yep,
Walking around at a fair with the Whatnot app, I'm going, let's see, what can I bid on here?
yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's so fun, and it definitely is a little addicting, but you also like, I feel like we're getting deals, like I've worked on valuing my portfolio. I'm highly confident, although I'm not finished figuring it out. I'm highly confident that I'm up at least. So, that's a plus. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Lines and odds are available on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023, all rights reserved.
So I mean, yeah, with mine though, I've got just about every Connor Bedard out there that's not a numbered card. So I mean, I've got, like I said, I got 2 Young Guns. I do have the net cord. I was telling people last night, I know of where there's a net cord for sale, and my plans are, once I get this, is I want to go immediately out and I want to buy that for what I feel is market value, because I'll be able to do that. That way, it doesn't drop the value of the card too soon. But
yeah, that's a good idea. And I know you're going to join us briefly in Cleveland. It's quick, but you're going to be at the card show. You're going to be able to get your card in hand. How are you feeling about the upcoming journey?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Obviously, there's the flight there is now up in the air because I have possibly found a direct flight out of the other airport in Chicago, Midway.
Yeah.
So I might be.
Yeah, I was texting Dan about it because I've had a lot of experience flying in and out of Chicago.
Yeah, and so, I mean, to be honest, I didn't even realize Southwest flew out of O'Hare. So that's why when I saw O'Hare, I'm like, oh, that's the cheapest thing. But I might be able to fly to Cleveland direct, get there about 11:30, and that way I'll have a little bit more time and I won't feel as rushed. Because if I'm on the current course, literally it's gonna be sprinting from everything that needs to be done. And I was even thinking about flying in the night before, but I have to work and I wouldn't be able to get to the airport in time. And I go, worst comes to worst, I'll find a park bench.
Well, we appreciate that you're coming out. I think it's going to be awesome, and I hope you're able to squeeze in that extra time. And yeah, I mean, have you this being the Late Game podcast, have you watched the Late Game yet?
I'm trying to figure out how I can. So
yeah, Prime Video. We're available for rent and purchase on Prime, so
okay,
you could download it on your phone, watch it on the flight.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because I've seen that. I've definitely seen the trailer, and it definitely looks awesome. I go, it kind of looks like if Kevin Smith were to make a hockey movie.
Exactly. That's what we were going for. My business partner, Jeff Tyner, he's a very big Kevin Smith fan, and we're actually going to be debuting in Cleveland. Hopefully, this noise of me opening the pack isn't too annoying for people watching. But we're going to debut these Polly's Pies cards, and I'm really excited to be giving these out at our event. And I'm going to mute for a second while I open it, but I'll show you guys in a sec. And Zack, welcome back. We're pumped for our event. Tell me about how you're feeling about getting to deliver the card in person to Mike, and just about the event overall.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. Also, I apologize, my phone just shut off, but we're back now. This is actually the second card I've got to deliver in person, so I don't really mind making a habit of it. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun to get to see the guys who hit some of these super banger cards. But yeah, I'm excited that Mike's able to make it out there and meet him and kind of see what the show has for us with the 101.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, these Polly's Pies cards, people are gonna be able to get them at the show. It's pretty fun. It's got all the characters from the movie, or at least from our Polly's team. Eventually, hopefully, we'll do characters from the movie. RA from Chiclets. We want to do signed inserts maybe at some point. That would be fun. But yeah, here's me. It's pretty hilarious. They got little write-ups on the back and stuff. So excited to launch these. We're going to give some out in Cleveland, get some feedback. At some point we'll have them available on our website and at events. So can't wait for that. Mike, excited for you to watch the film. And Zack, in terms of when you started doing this, like, did you have any thought in your mind about like you're going to actually be potentially changing people's lives like this?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially when we first started, it was just fun way to like rip cards and get people some sick cards. But I mean, obviously, the more and more you do it, the more boxes you rip. Like, you don't really necessarily think about it, but you do have more of a potential of hit some of these life changing cards. So it is awesome. I'm just really really happy that we were able to do it. It's awesome. And then yeah, for Smokehaus to get it, like, that's even better because I know he is and has been chasing like Bedard all the time. So the fact that he did get it is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, it makes me so happy. And just, I know you bought a bunch of the teams in the random, but still the fact that it was a random is pretty awesome.
I mean, to be fair, if I would have offered the first spin three, pick two, if I would have gotten the Hawks, I would have bought a lot less teams. It's kind of safe to say, but it was me just keep trying to hit those Hawks, and because I didn't want to rely on having to trade a whole bunch of teams and hoping that somebody was going to say yes, and then if that trade does happen, and then all of a sudden they're dealing with the guilt for the rest of their lives that they could have pulled the 101, but they gave it away for a Bobby Brink gold auto out of Ultimate. So, but yeah, it's that it was that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I got to do it. I got to go in. I was actually just going for the UD canvas. So when that came up, I was like, sweet. But knowing the 101 was back, I go, I wonder who got that. And I literally said it in chat. I wonder if it was one. I hope I didn't give away the 101 because I actually gave away two teams before. I gave the Rangers and the Jets away. And if it was going to be one of those, then I would have had that feeling. So that's why I'm like, please don't let it be a team that I gave away. Don't let it be the Jets or the Rangers.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You had the karma there, with giving those away, which is pretty awesome. And one thing I've noticed about like focusing on buying a team, like I've bought a lot of teams, but I've mostly bought Avalanche, and like I end up with certain cards that I just like. Please, I have too many of this guy, Ben Meyers, Alex Newhook, looking at you. Because I'm buying these years of the Avs. I'm curious, are there any like Hawks that you just have a glut of and you would like to get rid of?
Yeah, the rookies that are no longer on the team, like Pius Suter, Mike Hardman, not Kalinuk.
Hagel.
Which one?
Hagel.
Yeah, Hagel.
Hagel's good.
My boy.
Yeah.
But and I swear there's another one that I'm thinking of that's in 22. But yeah, I'm mainly focused on Vlasic, Reichel, Korchinski. Like I'll tell you what, people are sleeping on Korchinski, but as a D-man, he's got the potential to be Duncan Keith or Brent Seabrook. He's got that potential and score goals. So putting him right behind Connor, yeah, that's going to work out just fine.
Well, it should be an interesting period for the card industry, for the Hawks. The Hawks have had plenty of good years, so I know there's a lot of fans out there jealous you guys got Bedard, but I'm excited to see what he does with the career and how he amps up these card values. And I'm really excited to see you in Cleveland and for us to get to give you the card, and we'll make sure we get everything on video so we can share it with this audience again and with Skol and Steel's audience. And yeah, we want everybody to know what a fucking badass card this is.
Shit's sick. Wait till you get it. It's so cool.
And the thing is, now granted, the only phone numbers you can ever find for the front office are all going to be ticketing, but I have reached out and given my contact information to the Chicago Blackhawks in case they want to do any kind of PR or video with it or something like that, considering how big of a card this is. I even told them, I go, if you guys don't care, it's not going to bother me whatsoever. It's not going to offend me. I understand that this is special to me, but at the same time, with it being probably one of the most important modern day hockey cards of all time, it's definitely, I just wanted to reach out and say, hey, before I go ahead and sell this, if you wanted to do like a video or a promotion or even take a picture of it so that way you can have banners hanging around the United Center during Hawks games, whatever they want to do, I'm totally fine.
They got to get a picture of you and Bedard with the card.
Oh, that would be, and then I would immediately want to print it and have him sign that. Everybody's like, have him sign the card. I go, no, I want to sign that. I want him to sign that.
That's awesome. Well, let me know how it goes contacting the Hawks. I can see if I'm sure at least Sean has somebody in his network with the Hawks. So yeah, keep us posted on that.
Yeah, we'll do.
Awesome. And then Zack, anything else you want to add for the audience about the upcoming card show or anything that Skol and Steel's doing specifically?
Yeah, I just probably about the card show in a couple days on Thursday the 25th. We'll be there. The late game will be there. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be just as ridiculous as on stream, so definitely go there and check it out.
Sweet. And yeah, Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Excited to meet you in Cleveland, and thanks for your time.
Sounds good.